Every Nigerian has felt it.
But before you eat, you go suffer. The suffering is too much.
That quiet shock when you realize your salary hasn't changed, but the prices around you have sprinted ahead. In August 2025, Nigeria's inflation stood at 20.12%, one of the highest in the world. But inflation in itself isn't a bad thing. Prices are meant to rise gradually over time. It's how economies grow, how wages adjust, how money keeps moving. But in Nigeria, the rise stopped being gradual long ago. Take something ordinary, a kilo of mackerel fish. In 2007, it had sold for about 260 naira. Today, it sells for 7,000 naira. Now, look at a police constable's salary. In 2007, he earned just less than 26,000 naira a month, enough to buy nearly 100 kilos of that same fish. In 2025, he earns 84,000 naira, barely enough for 12 kilos. That's the real story of inflation. Prices rising faster than people can breathe, and a paycheck that feeds less with every passing year. Because in Nigeria, it's not just that things are getting expensive, it's that money itself is losing its meaning. This isn't just a story about rising prices. It's about a nation stuck in a repeating cycle of boom, bust, and borrowed hope. Our story begins in the 1970s, an era of big dreams and even bigger oil fields. The Arab oil embargo of 1973 sent oil prices soaring, and Nigeria struck gold. Oil became king. Within a few years, it accounted for 80% of government revenue and nearly all foreign exchange. A blessing and a curse. New highways, grand schools, flashy projects. The nation was spending like tomorrow would never come. Agriculture, once the backbone of the economy, was forgotten. Why farm when oil money flowed like water? Then in the early 1980s, the oil wells of fortune turned dry. Prices crashed. Nigeria's income collapsed. The loans taken during the boom came knocking, and the government had no money to pay back. By 1983, the economy had shrunk by 11%. Factories went quiet, workers lost jobs, and markets went bare. In the Western world, a 2% drop sparks panic. Nigeria lost 5 times that, and paid in hunger and hardship. The central bank tried to slow the spiral, raising interest rates, rationing credit, and limiting how much banks could lend. But it failed, because Nigeria's inflation wasn't driven by consumer demand. It was fueled by a collapsing naira and falling oil revenues, a crisis no interest rate could cure. In 1986, the word on every street was structural adjustment. General Ibrahim Babangida embraced the IMF's Structural Adjustment Program, a promise to fix the economy by making the naira cheaper and exports stronger. At first, the numbers smiled. Growth rose by 5% a year between 1986 and 1992. But behind the charts, something broke. The naira tumbled from 1 naira to the dollar to 17 naira in just 6 years. Civil servants lost jobs and imports became luxuries. By 1989, the giant of Africa was now borrowing from the World Bank. On paper, GDP was growing, but families weren't eating better. The middle class collapsed, poverty deepened, and Nigerians learned a painful truth. A growing economy doesn't always mean a better life. The 1990s drifted under military rule. Nigeria was sanctioned by the international community for annulling the June 12th presidential election in 1993. As a result, inflation soared, and by the time democracy returned, the country was poorer than before. Then, a spark of hope. Debt relief, telecoms, oil money, and reforms under Obasanjo. For a brief moment, Nigeria was rising again. But once more, oil money fed corruption and inequality instead of factories and savings. When oil prices crashed in 2008 and 2014, progress crumbled like dust. But the worst was still to come. In 2016, Nigeria entered a recession, and by 2020, the situation worsened due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Salaries stayed the same, while food and rent doubled. By 2023, President Tinubu ended fuel subsidies and merged exchange rates. Economists praised the decision. But prices tripled, transport costs soared, and the average Nigerian found it hard to feed. Today, 30 million Nigerians face hunger. Nearly 6 million children suffer from malnutrition. It's a quiet emergency, one that lives in kitchens, not headlines.